Hi, my name is Melissa and I will be doing the introduction. My group members are Lissette, Alex, Abigail, and Ryan. Ranging from squids and octopus to sea slugs, snails, oysters, clams, and conches, many organisms from different environments make up the phylum Mollusca, the molluscs. Molluscs are a rather successful animal group, with an existing estimate of around 1,100 species, are generally sharing the same basic anatomical features. The first of the distinguishing features is the mantle, which is a muscular bag surrounding the gills and other organs. The mantle is used for circulating water throughout the organism's body. While some molluscs use their circulations to feed, some others tend to use the circulations to jet water to propel them forward. The mantle on a number of different molluscs secretes a calcium carbonate shell for protection. A second feature that is often found in these creatures is a muscular foot located underneath the head, which is commonly used by snails, slugs to claw around. However, this foot becomes a tentacle in organisms like squids and other molluscs. The most prominent trait of molluscs is a radula, which is similar to a tongue with rough teeth that is used to feed. Though different types of molluscs species have different kinds of radula in tune with their diverse feeding needs. Predatory cone shells, for example, have radula that take the form of harpoons with barbs and paralyzing venom for incapacitating prey.
Hello, my name is Lissette, and today I'm going to be talking about bivalves, which is defined as a marine mollusk that has been compressed body surrounded with a hinged shell, such as oysters and clams, sometimes called plesiopods, are a very countless and plentiful group of mollusks which populate a change of marine and non-marine environments. Their long geologic history and variety of forms have made them the popular subjects of many evolutionary and functional studies. For those who work on modern bivalves, often the characters such as gill structures and even color patterns have taken more importance in classification.
Bivalves have no head and they also lack a radula. They include clams, oysters, cockles, mussels, and scallops, and numerous other families that live in salt water, as well as a number of families that live in freshwater. The majority are filter feeders. The gills have evolved into nidia, specialized organs for feeding and breathing. Most bivalves bury themselves in sediment, where they are relatively safe from predation. Others lie on the seafloor or attach themselves to rocks and other hard surfaces. A few bore into wood, clay, or stone and live inside these substances. Some bivalves, such as the scallop, can swim. The shell of a bivalve is composed of calcium carbonate and consists of two usually similar parts called valves. These are joined together along one edge by a flexible ligament that, usually in conjunction with the interlocking teeth on each of the valves, forms the hinge. This arrangement allows the shell to be opened and closed without the two halves detaching. The shell is typically diametrically symmetrical, with the hinge lying in the sagittal plane. Adult shell sizes of bivalves vary from a fraction of millimeter to over a meter in length, but the majority of species do not exceed 10 centimeters or 4 inches.
Gastropoda, or gastropods, more commonly known as snails and slugs, are a large taxonomic class within the phylum Mollusca. The class Gastropoda includes snails and slugs of all kinds and all sizes from microscopic to large. There are many thousands of species of sea snails and sea slugs, as well as freshwater snails, freshwater limpets, land snails, and land slugs. Gastropods are a major part of the phylum Mollusca, and are the most highly diversified class in the phylum, with 60,000 to 80,000 living snail and slug species. The anatomy, behavior, feeding, and reproductive adaptations of gastropods vary significantly from one clade or group to another. Therefore, it is difficult to state many generalities for all gastropods. Although the name and snail and can be, and often is, applied to all the members of this class, commonly this word means only those species with an external shell big enough that the soft parts can withdraw completely into it. Those gastropods without a shell, and those with only a very reduced or internal shell, are usually known as slugs. Those with a shell into which they cannot withdraw are termed limpets. The marine shelled species of gastropod include edible species, such as abalone, conches, periwinkles, whelks, and numerous other sea snails that produce seashells that are coiled in the adult stage, though in some, the coiling may not be very visible. In a number of families of species, such as all the various limpets, the shell is coiled only in the larval stage, and is a simple conical structure after that.
Alrighty, now I'm going to recap our classes. Gastropoda, the single-shelled organisms that are composed of snails, whelks, and such, and Bivalvia, organisms like clams and oysters that are composed of shells with two hinged parts. Continuing on, these classes share the same basic anatomical features such as the radula, mantle, and muscular foot, as well as gills, though organisms in Bivalvia lack heads, unlike those in Gastropoda. And gastropods tend to dominate terrestrial, marine, and other environments, while Bivalvia organisms tend to only stick to marine and freshwater environments. Shells of these mollusk classes tend to be composed of calcium carbonate, and the reproductive systems as well as the usual feeding habits of these two classes vary very differently from one another, as organisms in Bivalvia are usually filter feeders, and those in Gastropoda can either be herbivores feeding on seaweed on rocks, for example, or carnivorous, as they tend to detect prey by tasting the water from a distance. Though I feel like that is all that we have time for. Yeah.
I look at my watch and it snows. I look at my ring and it snows. I look at my chain and it snows. I look at my watch and it snows. Snows. I look at my chain and it snows. I look at my